1v1 is a game mode in Rocket League which requires players to have good mechanics, good game sense, and also a solid mental, as it is known for being one of the most frustrating modes you can play in Rocket League. And there are two certain players of the modern era who have the most entertaining matches 1v1 has to offer. This is the story behind the greatest rivalry in 1v1 history. To get started, we're going to be talking a bit about our rivals, Rw9 and Zen. Zen is the player who single-handedly raised the bar in Pro Rocket League with his insane mechanics and presence on the pitch, winning his rookie season in the RLCS in dominant fashion. But Zen doesn't just have success in 3v3, as just around the time he was making a name for himself, he started to appear in more 1v1 show matches, hosted by Johnny Boy, beating some impressive names and even going on an 11 series win streak. He had quickly become labeled as the player with the best offense in the game. Then we have Rw9, a player from the MENA region who was well respected by pros for being a class player. And this would also translate into ones, where Rw9 had great success, being labeled as the player with the best defense in the world.
I really do believe that what we're currently seeing is the best defensive player in ones.
Now you can see why these players are natural rivals. We have the best offense in the world versus the best defense in the world. A perfect matchup. We will now go to the first time these players would encounter each other, which would be in a Johnny Boy show match. And it's fair to say there was a lot of hype for this matchup.
Two of the greatest ones talents that the world has ever seen, from two of the greatest 1v1 nations the world has ever seen. But a new rivalry is born today. This is chapter 1 of a rivalry I could see living for a long time. Zen is on an 11 series win streak. Now Rw9 has a chance to make history, be the first player to beat Zen. Zen has a chance to make history, being the fastest rise from new 1v1 player to world #1 in a way that we've never seen before.
Game 1 went mostly in Zen's favor here.
Zen's offense is up there. He looks just more solid and robust in that regard. Rw9 now looking to save a flip reset side on, but he has no chance.
With Rw9 still keeping it close, picking things up more towards the end, but it ended up being too little too late for Rw9, and Zen will take the win here. But Rw9 came into game 2 looking like his usual self, making some great defensive stops and getting a nice 3-0 lead here to start the game.
A methodical one. And a successful one as well.
But as we will learn, that is nothing in 1v1, as Zen manages to make a very good comeback, breaking through Rw9's defense and carrying this momentum for the rest of the game.
Before being demoed, delays the attack for now, but Zen is still coming at him. Oh, another great save by Rw9. Surely Zen's finishing it off. Zen has been shoring up on the weaknesses in his game.
Zen is now 2-0 in the series, and this next game will be do or die for Rw9, as being 3-0 down would just be too hard of a task. So in order to give himself the best chance at coming back here, he needs to win. And that's exactly what he'll do, as he dominates the pitch for the first half of the game.
Perfect timing by Rw9. Zen quickly up into the air. Rw9 just demos him. What? He's done a phenomenal job to absorb that challenge though. 4-0, and well, for Zen to come back even from a position like this against a defensive powerhouse like this.
But Zen here would not go down so easily, as he starts to make an impressive comeback, and it gets very scary for Rw9, with Zen starting to dominate the pitch once again and bringing the game back to a winnable 8-6 scoreline. And this is when Zen does this.
Zen has to score here. He's going for the full bridge air dribble. He's got one reset and a shot on.
Pulling off a crazy shot to make him just one goal away from tying up this game. Rw9 now just needs 10 more seconds though to come back in this series. And Rw9 will do just that, as he takes game 3 and puts himself in a much better position now to win the series. Rw9 would now carry this momentum into game 4, where Rw9 would just pop off, controlling the pitch in both offense,
very strong position here. Oh, perfect finish as well.
And defense.
Zen definitely has the edge when it comes to flip resets. Oh, wow. He went for another air dribble bump, but Rw9 wrapped himself around it, dodges into the ball, and he comes away with possession. That is a crazy save and a monster of a flick. Rw9 wants the ceiling interception, and he gets it. Oh my goodness, what a challenge by Rw9. Ceiling interception on a full pitch Zen air dribble. Now here comes Rw9 the other direction, and he scores. Well,
Rw9 has found a way back into this series, with the score now sitting at 2-2. Winning this game here would be very crucial for these players, and Rw9 with all the momentum would be the one to pounce on that advantage.
Now an air dribble bump for the KSA player for it to win. Oh, he just dribbles past him effortlessly. Zen so desperate.
And it seems like things had slipped a little for Zen here, as Rw9 now puts himself on match point in the series. Zen would now have to quickly recover mentally coming into this next game to give himself the best chance of taking it to game 7, which is now his only option. And this game would be a close one, as we had goal after goal, either players getting no more than 2 goals ahead of each other at a time.
And an open net as well. Dodges a demo. Flip reset at relatively close range, and the mind game, and he just idea. Will he be able to redeem himself immediately? Yes, he will.
However, towards the end, Zen had found himself in a good position, being 2 goals ahead with less than 30 seconds left. Unfortunately for Zen, however, Rw9 will keep making great saves and will also counter off these saves to get himself a goal here, with now only a goal difference with 13 seconds on the clock. But it will not matter, as Zen will get the winning goal here and we get our game 7. The game 7 between the best 1v1 players in the world. This game would crown the true #1 player in the world at this time, and Rw9 was pretty hungry for that title, as we see him come into this game with pure confidence as he tears apart Zen,
with Zen only having a few glimmers of hope towards the end of the game, but it was too late.
Is sufficient. Oh, he stripped it past him though. Zen went for the risky play.
As Rw9 will now end Zen's win streak and will take the title of the undisputed #1 1v1 player in the world. Now, after this thriller of a series, we wouldn't have to wait long to see this matchup again, as Rule 1, which was Rw9's team at the time, were hosting a 1v1 tournament where we would get to see Zen and Rw9 go head to head once again, all for the chance of winning $1,000. Game 1 would start by immediately showing us both players' skill, whilst also keeping to the theme of it being Zen's offense versus Rw9's defense, as we see moments like this, where Zen gets the ball in the air and then will secure a reset to allow himself to quickly get back to the ball, to then use just enough to trick his opponent and get it over their head for a free goal. And on the opposite end, we see Rw9 manage to be in a position most players would lose complete control of their car, but not Rw9, as he uses his flip here while being in this awkward position to 50 Zen and get the ball away from danger. But towards the end of this game, we would start to see things lean more in Rw9's favor as he starts to use some solid pressure to slowly dissect Zen, and this will lead to him taking the first game. In game 2, we really get to see how smart Zen can be, and has to be, in order to take down Rw9's defense. But Zen has not figured him out yet, as Rw9 will fight back with equal force until the later stages of the game. And in the late seconds of the game, Rw9 just breaks away here, getting a goal with very little time left for Zen. But with Rw9 missing an open goal here on the kickoff, Zen has a golden opportunity to tie up this game with an air dribble bump. But Rw9, with yet another killer save here against what seemed unavoidable, stops Zen and will now go 2-0 up in the series, perfectly mirroring what Zen did to him before. But he has to put it aside here because, as I've said before, in these situations, losing here is not something you can afford to do. But for Zen, it does not seem to be his day, as Rw9 will have the edge in game 3 as well.
Very dangerous. Oh my days! Doesn't know what bad save means. Early challenge again. Countered by Rw9. He's just winning. Yeah, both ends of the field. Just wants to get something to build his momentum, maybe something to build his confidence going into the all-important game 4.
However, even though the odds are now very much unfavorable, Zen still had a chance in this series, and he will give it his all here. And by no means have any of these games made Zen lose his composure, as we will continue to see his strong offense, whilst also giving Rw9 a taste of his own medicine, making an insane defensive stop. It was clear he still had a lot of fight in him, as seen by Zen taking a game back in this series. We are starting to see a more defensive style from Zen here, as coming into game 5, he will continue with this. But this does mean Rw9 has more time to cook up his own offense, which we also know can be very good. And with this combination, we see a very close game between these two. And now, with less than 40 seconds left, we see Zen make another impressive defensive stop, and he will then go on to read Rw9's early challenge here to secure a goal lead, and this will also secure the win for Zen here. Zen has started to make an impressive comeback. However, coming into the next game, it's starting to seem that Zen's steam had ran out here, as Rw9 would keep Zen scoreless for the majority of the game, and even though there was a slight glimmer of hope here for Zen, it was too little too late, and Rw9 will hold on to his lead and take another series win against Zen. Now, some people may start to question how this can be such a great rivalry if Rw9 just keeps winning. But to understand more, we must look at Zen's entry into 3v3, where I'm sure, as most of you know, is where Zen makes history. And he has done this for multiple reasons. One of the reasons was in a series against Rw9, which of course is Rw9's team. And this was the series where the longest overtime in history was made. It was the third game of the series, and it had been a complete stalemate from both sides of the pitch, which of course ultimately led to an overtime. And funnily enough, even in 3v3, our offense versus defense still applies to these players here, as we see Vitality constantly peppering shots, but Rw9 matching them with save after save. This match was pure cinema.
Shot after shot, 16 for Vitality, 12 for Rw9. It feels like it, and Mosted will 10 has it read, not the best bounce. Free shot saved by Alpha. Goal line, Alpha in a 1v1. This could be it. For days, has the bump, and rolls to Rw9. To Zen from the sidewall, burning all of his boots, can't get it past Clears. You can't blame him. They have to play the 2-on-2. Alpha just has to play with his food.
Almost ended it, but we're still moving on. Mosted off the post.
Land record for a team. Can they keep the story?
The Clears it away.
Boost is gone.
Vitality are still up. They can absolutely do it here. Alpha.
But all of a sudden, after 11 minutes 30 on the clock, Vitality slipped up here, and Rw9 had an opening, but the shot was wide, and the follow-up saved. A disaster for Rw9. And this would cost Rw9, as Vitality would now counter up the pitch, and even with a good save from Rw9, the follow-up was too much. And Zen, after winning this game here, would go on to win the series. And now, he has finally beaten Rw9. Now, moving out of the RLCS season, there is one tournament in the off-season called Gamers 8, where Zen and Rw9 would manage to face each other yet again. And how this tournament works was it would involve 3v3, 2v2, and 1v1 matchups in the same series. But for today, we will be focusing on the 1v1 between Rw9 and Vitality, which of course is the game where Rw9 and Zen would go head-to-head. Getting into the game, you can tell they are locked in, as they would have potentially the fate of the series in their hands here, with their teammates putting all their faith into each of them. And their gameplay would show this, with both players looking in form, going goal for goal here, at least until Zen pulled off a nice air dribble bump here, awakening something in him, and he would now go on to take the pitch.
Very low, but rotates via the mid. Both on 100, Zen with one. Goes for Musty!
Getting a 3-goal gap between him and Rw9. However, after Zen was on another attack here, he slightly misjudges an air dribble bump, and hits the ball with his own car, whilst at the same time Rw9 uses the squishy save to take the ball, avoid Zen, and get an open goal. This would be the motivator Rw9 would need, as now he would take control of the pitch himself.
Just giving Rw9 a free goal. Rw9 does not let this game get out of control. Oh, Zen another quick one, and he whips it. Rw9 will happily take the game-tying goal.
And would not only tie the game here, but also take a 2-goal lead in just over a minute of gameplay. A complete turnaround. But there is still a lot of time on the clock, and Zen will use this by getting physical here to clear Rw9 out of the net to just get 1 goal away from equalizing. With a minute left now, it would be up to Rw9 to defend Zen's offensive power. And who else would you want for this job, as we see Rw9 block Zen and counter him perfectly in order to take a comfortable lead here. And he will keep this lead, taking yet another 1v1 win against Zen. Rw9 would also go on to win this whole series as well. Now we have found ourselves at our last matchup here, which would be during a 1v1 tournament called Salt Mine. This is a big 1v1 event hosted by Johnny Boy with some nice prize pools on the line. And we would see both Zen and Rw9 in this event, and they would find themselves both in the semi-finals. Getting into game 1, we see some solid defense coming out from both sides, with Zen just having a slight edge overall, showing some really impressive gameplay as we see him able to counter Rw9 nicely.
Bottom left.
Oh, wow.
That's no more boost. It's Zen who's quickly into a dribble. He wants to take advantage of the fact that Rw9 had very little. Rw9 saves the first but won't stop the second. Zen.
And from here it would be Zen's show as he holds his lead, catching Rw9 off here to get a late goal and also getting the kickoff goal afterwards. The first game would be Zen's. Zen was looking good here and now has a good chance to finally beat Rw9 in a 1v1. Coming into game 2, it was clear this would be a goal fest, with Rw9 going on an early rampage, but Zen also coming back to keep the game close.
Zen had to give the ball away and ended up conceding a goal as well. Delayed shot now by Zen. It's gone in. Rw9.
Is Zen going to be able to make this back? I don't... Oh, yes, he is. He is going to find the angle. So Zen
did make it difficult, but now we're seeing a more aggressive Zen, trailing by 3 late in the game. And this...
Unfortunately for Zen, however, it will be too late as Rw9 would take game 2. Game 3, Zen came out firing with some creative shots to get around Rw9's defense.
Scrubkill is the original way back in the day. Oh, what a shot by Zen.
talked about those leads. Zen will probably try and start to play it here a little bit. Oh, nice play.
And he was able to take game 3 in this series. Early in game 4 would show us well how Zen's defense has improved, showing some crazy stuff you would think was Rw9. But sometimes there is only so much you can do. With Rw9 taking a lead, currently Zen would need to do something to turn this game around. And he will do just that, as he is able to save Rw9's shot whilst also avoiding a bump. He will then counter up the pitch to score. And this would be the turning point for Zen, as he is able to take control of this game, taking the lead now against Rw9.
Saves between two players I've ever seen. As now Zen.
Defensive stands are crucial. Next goal means a lot in terms of the game.
But Rw9 wouldn't let it be that easy, as he is able to score with little time left, equalizing the game. Now, after time is almost up, we see some 0-second heroic attempts, but it doesn't happen, and we do have an overtime. Not something we've seen often between these two, and it wouldn't be long as Zen gets a crazy 50 here, running through Rw9 and taking game 4. This would put Zen on match point. Rw9 would need something now coming into game 5, as he is now in a do or die situation, and this game would be a nail biter.
Very wise for Rw9.
Everything in the midfield is not, you know, it's cutting edge. It's cutting edge. A lot of the stuff we can't cover.
There he is.
Nice dodgeable bump.
After the kickoff went so strongly against him. Look at this for creative defense. Zen gonna actually block Rw9. Oh no, he doesn't get the boost. Okay, Rw9 will score. But no, you're absolutely right. They're just going for it. And this is another wide open net for Rw9. He is gonna walk this one in. Seconds. It's been full of open net misses by both. Now Zen with the fake. Denied at the near post, and it's going to be Rw9.
But late into the game, Rw9 finds himself a goal ahead. All he has to do is hold onto the lead now. But Zen, with space in the air here, completely fakes out Rw9 to tie the game. It was looking like we had another overtime on our hands. At least if Zen didn't have other plans, as he dunks Rw9 in the midfield and has a chance for the 0-second win. And Zen has done it. What a way to finally get revenge on Rw9 in 1v1. A beautiful ending to this rivalry here. Two incredible players through and through. The yin and yang synergy between them makes it one of the most entertaining matchups to watch. I hope these two will continue to battle each other in the future, keep making history, and keep us entertained.